This is a video tutorial for the Happy Days clip-on dog walking bag. It has a handy clip-on here, or you can just use the tab and thread it through your belt. It has a grommet to pull the bags out. It has a magnetic clasp there to keep the bags in place, and it also has a magnetic clasp at the top, and there's plenty of room in there for either your phone or for treats. And this is how we make it. This is what you'll need: fabric for the outer, fabric for the lining and pocket, some interfacing, a swivel clasp, grommets and some magnetic clasps. We'll start by making the tab. Take your tab fabric and fold in half, wrong sides together, and press. Then open out and pop this edge on that crease line you've made, and again press, and the same for that side, and press, and then over again and press all the way across. And when you've done that, take it over the sewing machine and sew along that side and along that side. You might want to pop some clips in, and this is what you'll end up with, a tab, and we'll put that to one side for the moment. We're now working on the pocket. Take the piece of fabric you've decided to use for your pocket piece and place it on your work surface and fold it wrong sides together. Line up all the edges and the sides, and then press a nice sharp crease along the top. And then take it over to the sewing machine and use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Sew along the fold, top stitching. You could use your fancy stitch at this point. We've now got to put the magnetic clasp in place. So carefully open up your front pocket piece, fold in half and finger press the back. Then take the backing of your magnetic clasp and place it in the centre, about there. And then get your pen and mark 2 lines along there for your cutting line. Once you've cut your lines, get your magnetic clasp and place it through the holes, and then take the backing piece and place it on top, and then carefully spread the prongs out, and you'll end up looking like this. Once you've put your magnetic clasp on the back of your pocket, turn it over, and we're going to be putting the grommet in the centre. So we've got to find the centre first. So take the bottom of your pocket and place it on the sewing line that you made earlier, and crease, finger crease will do, and then open up. And then to get the centre line, fold this one over, and again finger press it just to give you the centre there. Then take your template that you've had with your grommets and place it on the crease lines that you've made, and then take your pen and draw all the way around. Once you've drawn your circle, remove your template, and before you cut it, pop some clips in to stop the layers moving about. And then carefully cut around that circle. Make sure that you go right the way through both layers, so you're going through the front of the pocket and the back. Once you've cut your circle, we're going to insert the grommet. When you look at the insides of your grommet, you'll see one has quite a smooth surround and the other one is a bit more spiky. And I found the easiest way to do is to use your smooth one and pop that in underneath first and place the hole that you've cut out over the top, and then take the one with the spikes on and place that on top and then click into place. And that now is our grommet attached. And I'll take the clips away. Oops. Take your front of your bag and fold in half and finger press the centre, then open out and then place your pocket front on top. I'm going to turn it round for the camera now, and then because we put the clasp on this side, we need to put the matching one on the front, and to find out where that's got to go, pull the front as far back as you can and then take your pen and just put a mark on that top. Now take your backing plate and place it against the mark you've made on the centre line and mark each side where the prongs will go. Remove the plate and then cut the 2 lines that you've made, and then insert your other magnetic clasp part and make sure you're looking at it so it's on the right side of the fabric, and then carefully turn it over, get your magnetic clasp back and place it on the back, and then carefully, a bit tough, fold over and then that's the front done. Now take your pocket front, and it should attach all quite nicely now, and now we'll pop some clips in. And we're going to tack quite close to the edge to keep the pocket in place. Then take your tab that you made earlier and fold it in half, and make sure that the folded part faces up, and place it on the side and clip into place as well. And then we're going to take it over to the sewing machine and we're going to tack all these pieces, including the tab, into place. I've tacked the pocket into place and I've also tacked the tab, and I'm going to put this to one side for a moment. Now we're working on the lining fabric. Take one of your lining fabrics and fold in half and make a nice sharp crease with your finger, and then open up, and then measure from this top edge 2 centimetres and make a mark, and then take your backing plate that you've got for your magnetic clasp and place the top of the magnetic clasp so the top's touching the line you've drawn and the centre is on the centre line. And once you're happy with it in the right place, take your pen and, as we did before, mark where you've got to cut the prongs. I've cut along the 2 little marks I've made, and now I'm going to turn it over and take my magnetic clasp and place it in those 2 marks I've made, and then put the backing plate on, and as we did before, fold over the backs. And repeat that for the other piece of lining. I've repeated it for the other piece of lining. Now we're going to start joining the bag all together. Place the front of your bag you made earlier with a grommet on, right sides together on top of one of the lining pieces. Line up all the sides and edges, and then clip along the top. And once you've clipped along the top, we're going to take it over the sewing machine and use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so all along there, joining the front and the lining together. I've sewn across, joining the front to the lining, and I've also done the same for the back. So I'll place the back fabric right sides up, and I'll place the other piece of lining right sides together, and I've sewn across the top. I've opened them out, and now I'm going to place them right sides together. So linings are together, and I'm going to match up the sides, edges and the side seams, and I'm going to pop some clips in. I've clipped it all together, and I've remembered to leave a gap in the lining, and now I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew using a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. I'm going to start there, back tack a bit, and then I'm going to sew all the way down, stop, across the bottom and stop, back up, might be a bit bumpy over the pocket area and the tab, and sew along the lining and stop, along the bottom of the lining, and then back up to there and back stitch, and leaving a gap for turning. I've sewn all the way around, remembering to leave a gap for turning, and I've snipped each of the 4 corners, and now all that's left is to pull it the right way through the gap. I've turned it the right way, and I've sewn up the gap. I've added the clasp, and now I'm going to tuck the lining inside the bag. I'll push the lining inside, and I've pressed it, and that's your Happy Days clip-on dog walking bag all finished.